Welcome everyone. Assalamu alaikum. I'll just give it a few seconds while everyone is joining us. Welcome everybody. Assalamu alaikum. So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today and for your interest in joining today's session under the title of Study UK webinar, focusing on artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, energy and environment postgraduate courses in the UK. My name is Reem. I'm part of the British Council team and I'll be moderating today's session. Just a quick overview of what we will be covering today during today's session. The session is divided up to two sections. The first will be on artificial intelligence and cybersecurity postgraduate courses, followed by a Q&A. After that, we will be moving to environment and energy postgraduate courses. A few housekeeping rules before we begin. Please keep your mic on mute during the entire session. We received many questions from all of you prior to this session, so we will try to cover most of those questions during Q&A. However, we invite and encourage everyone to drop us a question at the Q&A box at any time during the session. For everyone's awareness, today's session is being recorded and will be distributed among our social media platforms. And now, without further ado, I would like to introduce Ellie Kenny McLean. Ellie is the British Council's Country Director of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and handing it over to you, Ellie.
Thank you so much, Reem, and thank you so much for joining us this evening. The UK and Saudi Arabia have an important and long-standing relationship, and it's been strengthened over the years through the strong individual connections that many Saudi graduates have developed during their time at UK universities. The UK is a welcoming multicultural society and one which has much to offer Saudi students. Excellent academic and research opportunities, and the ability to build your network and equip you with the future skills you need to succeed. The British Council is delighted this evening to have the opportunity to bring together speakers from the UK's leading universities to share with you the latest information on artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and other postgraduate courses in the UK. You will have the opportunity to get more information about UK universities' world-leading research, employability, post-study, and funding opportunities for international students. The UK education system continues to inspire generations of students from around the world who choose to study at UK universities, and UK universities continue to create Nobel Prize winners, Oscar awardees, and Olympic champions. The topic of this webinar today is appropriate for students considering studying in the UK in the key areas of artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and also those contemplating postgraduate research. Events like these today reflect and celebrate the strengths of the UK higher education system and the impact a UK education can have on you, your communities, and your country. It also affirms the strength of a UK university research network, where you can exchange ideas and knowledge and build partnerships for now and in the future. I hope that you leave here today inspired and motivated with the knowledge that you need to start your future study plans. Thank you for joining us, and I look forward to hearing from our speakers, and we look forward to answering your questions this evening. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Ellie, for your remarks. This marks the start of our session. I would like now to introduce Dr. Bujang Kang. Dr. Kang is part of the Cybersecurity Research Group in the School of Electronics and Computer Science at the University of Southampton. Handing it over to you. You are mute, Dr. Bujang.
Sorry. Hello, everyone. Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Thank you for the introduction, and it's an honor to participate in this opportunity to introduce my research, not just my research, on cybersecurity and AI, and talking about the program here in the UK universities. So let me begin. So where am I? So my name is Bujang Kang. So I'm originally from South Korea. So I came to UK 6 to 7 years ago. So I'm a lecturer now at the University of Southampton since 2021. I'm part of the cybersecurity research group here at the university. So I'm teaching cybersecurity, software security, and blockchain as well. So my research interest is in malware analysis, intrusion detection, which is can be covered as cyber threat mitigation and detection. And my main research actually focus is on how to use AI technology in cybersecurity, and also expanding my research into blockchain. So more detail you can find from this link. So let me move on. So today we will cover why cybersecurity AI should be intertwined, why it is needed, and obviously about the programs UK University providing for you to study in AI and cybersecurity and employability in this sector and domain. So cyberspace. So it's quite difficult to live without the cyber nowadays. So even this event is taking place in virtual world, in online. So here I'm presenting to you from the UK in Southampton at my home, and you'll be listening, I don't know, in Saudi Arabia, in any places. So is that we are using smartphones, smart devices, even smart TV, you know, watching TV from YouTube, from internet, and watching Netflix, YouTube. So everything is connected. Everything is now accessible through internet. So it's difficult to imagine living our life without cyberspace. The problem is, you know, bad guys just doesn't let it go smooth. So they always try to attack those systems. So for financial gain, or just for fun, or to damage some other, you know, opponent business or other countries. So there are many different cyber actors always try to get the benefit out of it. So the cybersecurity is getting more important as the cyberspace is becoming more important in our lives. So securing those devices will secure our daily life, our assets. So some example I will introduce today. The first thing is the black energies. So in 2015, there was power outages caused by a cyber attack. So 3 energy distribution companies in Ukraine were under attack. And as of the result, more than 225,000 people suffer from outages from 1 to 6 hours. So delivered by the cyber attacks. So here in the figure, it shows too much details about how that happens, but in a nutshell, so the energy substation was switched off, and the IT infrastructure component was disabled by the attacks, and many different files are removed by the hackers, and there was denial of service on call center. So they were phoning to the call centers so that no people can report any failures, any problems. So the attack were successful for 6 hours. So this kind of critical infrastructure, not just these power companies, but imagine about this attack to nuclear power generation facilities or any other utilities, water, gas. Imagine that you're suffering from outage of these services. So these critical infrastructures are adopting advanced technology than being connected to the internet and opening the door to the cyber criminal that they get any financial gain or reputation from it. And another example is Mirai, so which is the name of the botnet, which is malware. So IoT, Internet of Things, meaning is that many things are connected again. So scanning vulnerable IoT devices will will allow the attacker to gain those devices and use it for the further attacks to anything, for the black energy, for anything else as well. So the main reason why this happened is because we don't carefully configure those devices. So using default usernames and password. So here in the graph shows that the top 10 password used, to get into the IoT devices. You can see 36% using password as an admin, and second root. Another is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I hope many of you don't use it, but we know that many people using very, very simple password. And this will open the door for the attacker to get into your system and compromise your machine and utilize it for the further actions. So Mirai was one of the famous botnet compromising these kind of IoT devices and use it for further attack to different services. So taking down one of example is taking down DNS, which provides which underpinning the internet for us, so that you can connect to the extra server like Google or Amazon or Netflix. So this will stop you connecting to those services if this system is under attack. So, and one last example is probably you heard of it, WannaCry, which is ransomware, hit in 2017. So thousands of computers were infected by this malware called WannaCry, which is ransomware. So you know what they do. So they encrypt or compress your data in your machine, then ask your money for decrypting it or for decompressing the data to recover them. So you will have to pay to get your data back. So the one message I'd like to highlight here is that to get your machine compromised, they need to exploit some of the vulnerabilities of your system or devices, so that to prevent your system being compromised, you should update your machines, because most of the malware, most of the attackers using known vulnerabilities, which already we know which part is weak. But if you don't update your system up to date, then your system is even vulnerable to those known vulnerabilities. So WannaCry, the ransomware, were exploiting actually known vulnerabilities. So system could be safe from this malware, but the problem is we don't act well enough in this matter. So that's the problem. Yeah. So main problem is human, is us, not the technologies actually. So during the COVID time, the most cyber attack is coming from social engineering attacks or from the weak configurations. So the human are the most responsible for the security breach. Even if technology is brilliant and provides a very good security, if you don't use it wisely, then useless. So it's up to us. And one other trend in cybersecurity these days is the cyber attack is becoming more advanced and targeted and persistent. So they are becoming more advanced, they are becoming more sophisticated, and they are becoming more persistent. So they used to target randomly, they just spread spam emails. So some non-technical people will click something and download something and execute something, then you will be compromised. But now they are targeting specific organization to come up with the best strategy to get it down. So the attack is getting advanced and sophisticated. So we need to provide better security mechanisms. So research is going on. So, and then another aspect is I'd like to highlight is that, so even though the new technology being introduced into the world, but at the initial time, so they don't regard security important because they wanted to introduce this product, their good baby into the world in timely manner. So they want to introduce it as soon as possible without any security consideration. So that makes their system or product vulnerable to many different kinds of attack. So it leads to, you will lose your reputation in these services as well. So the security will be is becoming more important and important. And the machine learning, so AI side. So machine learning, ML in short, is a branch of the artificial intelligence technologies. So it allows us to extract intelligence, the knowledge from the data. So nowadays we have a lot of data, but we need some insight from it. We need some intelligence, useful information from it, so that we can analyze data. But if the data, because of data is the size of data is too large, it is difficult to speed up the process, and you will always be behind. So the ML technology helps us to extract useful information from the data. So ML often requires the large amount of the data to get the new concept from it. And as you know, the notable example will be recognizing face and the driving car automatically. So here in the diagram shows the typical architecture of the AI system, machine learning system. So you will need a data to train, whether it is labeled or not. And you will use some algorithm, machine learning algorithm, to train a model, or sometimes we call it as a profile or classifier. Then whenever any input comes into the system, then you can predict it, what that means. So in the example of facial recognition, so you will need a number of faces to recognize yourself. Then you train it, then you get a model. Then whenever time you open up a system like iPhone, then your face will be taken. Then it will be fed into this model to tell whether it was you or not. So any machine learning based system is following this architecture. So you will need a data, then you will use a classification algorithm in machine learning or deep learning. Then you will get an input to get the decision based on how you train the model. Then how this can help the cybersecurity to each other? The first thing is, in cybersecurity, is a matter of to detect what's going on inside the system. So the first thing is to prevent it, to prevent any attack doesn't happen. But second is you need to monitor your system and you need to detect something is going wrong, so you can take further actions or recover your system. So that in this system, then you will be looking at different kinds of information depending on what kind of threat you want to protect. So that here are two examples on network traffic or malware data. So you will look at network traffic, or you will look at different files to tell some traffic is malicious or some files are malicious. But nowadays, network traffic or the number of files are huge, so that we need some support from the machine learning, because machine learning can automate this process and can give us meaningful information from the huge size of data. So it applies the same. So you get some data from the source, then you will apply different kinds of machine learning algorithms to get the meaningful information. So it is based on the similar architectures. Yeah, so why ML would be effective for the cybersecurity and requires big data analysis? So this graph shows the size of the data information created worldwide from 2010 to 2024. Probably 2024 is estimated the size of the data. So now we are looking, it is in zettabyte and zettabyte is 10,000 exabyte, and 1 exabyte is 1,000 petabyte. So imagine the size of the data is huge. You know, human cannot handle this kind of data. It has to be machine process this data, and it's difficult to find which part of the data is important or meaningful, or what's the connection between the data, what's the context from this data to get the to extract this kind of valuable information. So we need to use machine learning algorithm. So some characteristic from big data. So the volume of size, there must be good enough size of data and variety. Good, different kinds of information should be there to understand different perspectives, and velocity. So we should be able to quickly process it. And veracity is if the data is garbage, if the input is garbage, output is garbage. So data should be something we can trust as well. And if data is compromised, somehow manipulated, then the decision you get will be meaningless. So in cybersecurity purpose, so we will use different kinds of information, network traffic, files, system log, different kinds of information is available. And nowadays we are living in the world with the IoTs and cloud. So there are more than a lot of different sources that you can collect this kind of information to get security decisions. So that to make that possible, we need machine learning capability to support the cybersecurity. Yeah, the sophistication is getting more difficult for cyber attacks. And then we need AI and big data technology to extract the knowledge from the data and to speed up the process and to get meaningful information from the data. So now we move on to programs and the employability of the UK in cybersecurity and AI. For the cybersecurity part, so here in the UK, NCSC, which is the National Cybersecurity Center, certified degrees on cybersecurity. So they assess the university's program, then they credit which university is doing good in terms of the security in cybersecurity domain. So they call it as a academic center of excellence in cybersecurity education. And there are 19 universities with the gold award and silver award. So you can see the name of the university, and they certify degrees in undergraduate and the masters as well. But there's no such thing for PhDs because it's not just for education. The PhD is about research as well. So you can see the name of the university with the certified degree on ACCSE as well. And to give an example, so as I'm from the University of Southampton, I will use the example of the University of Southampton. So we have the undergraduate level, we have MEng course with based on cybersecurity, computer science, and specialized in AI and cybersecurity. And we also have a postgraduate MSc courses in AI and cybersecurity as well. So this will be probably same with other UK universities. And you will see the entry requirement. Usually they ask you to be second first degree with the mark of the 65% or above. And or if you could demonstrate your significant professional experience, so you might be opted from this certification, but it depends. And the program, it depends on the university. And if you are not from English first native country, you will have to demonstrate your English language. So you will get 6.5 in overall score of the IELTS. And the MS course, usually the course structure of the MS course is in 12 months. In the first 9 months, you will listen to the modules so attending lectures. But at the last 3 months, you will work on your project with an academic supervisor. But in the first 9 months, you will prepare your research project so that you can start right away after the second semester. Then you will write down your thesis and graduate. And in most UK university will have the cybersecurity research group. So here in the Southampton, we have cybersecurity research group like this. So we are gold awarded in cybersecurity education, but also ACE in cybersecurity research as well. So there are 19 universities in academic center of excellence in cybersecurity research. Then usually PhD study will be between 3 and 4 years. Then UK university ask to assign at least 2 academic supervisors for you. Then in our university, we have 3 progression review, internal review in 9 months and 18 months and 32 months. And then after that, you will be submitting your thesis and you will have your defense. This is a brief introduction about what you will do part of your PhD. And for AI, in the Southampton, we have different research group who is looking at machine learning technologies. So AIC, VLC, and WIS. And there are Center for Doctoral Training courses, not just in University of Southampton, but if you go to individually the UK university website, then you should be able to find what kind of training courses for doctor program should be there. And this is some of the examples. And the job trend. So we are promoting more female to pursue for STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math subject. So to encourage women into the computer science and technology career pathways. And for the international advantages, so we don't know exactly yet what is the impact by the COVID-19 pandemic, but many organizations look for the international, to help them penetrate into global market, not just in UK or not just in Saudi. And the technology jobs, on the increase all the time. So according to one report, in the UK, the tech sector employed just under 2 million in 2021. And imagine that. So our life is the technology, IT technology getting more, is developing more and more. So there will be more job needed. And where IT technology needed, cybersecurity will be needed, and AI as well. So there is a lot of opportunity in the UK, obviously in global wide. And here are some selection of the computer science graduated student will go for, not just for undergrad, for the postgrad as well. So I provide the link for each role, so that you can go in, you can have a look more details if you're interested in any of this. So in cybersecurity manner, so cybersecurity analysis, and we are a forensic computer analyst and pen tester. And yeah, those are the more or less cybersecurity related, but the rest is computer science and also AI part, data science, data scientists, machine learning engineers. But the point is that even if you are not considering to be AI expert or cybersecurity expert, if you go for any computer science technicians, so by having understanding on AI and cybersecurity, will make you more you will keep more skill set to perform your jobs in cybersecurity, computer science domain. So it's quite useful for you to study in this field. and these are the skills. So yeah, first thing is you need to be good at math or good at many logical things. But we here in the UK, we encourage you to acquire many other aspects as well, including ability to collaborate with others, because it's not individual work, it's going to be collaboration with your supervisor, with your colleague students, and at the end, working with many other research, many other people from industry and the academia. So that communication skill will be essential, and ability to take your ownership of the problem. So you don't just expect someone come and help you, but you self-drive your study and your research. And yeah, and the commercialized awareness. So we don't just want to do it just for fun because you are curious, but you always look for what can contribute to society. How can you make your research develop as a new as actual product? So this is very important, perspective. You keep that in your mind. So that is more or less the skill set I went through. So all the abilities, we expect you to have it, or we desire you to have it, but also university and the schools and your supervisor will help you to improve your skill and to get more experience on the research and these kind of activities. So UK universities are providing many programs to support you in regarding developing your skill set in this manner. Okay, so thank you for listening. So this is the end of my presentation, and here's another details of my colleagues. Where you have questions, you can feel free to email me and to him as well. So this QR code shows the link to our university website to get more information about admissions. So if you have any interest, please go for it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bujang. That was indeed a very insightful and eye-opening presentation. Now, this is a great opportunity for everyone to get any of their questions answered. So I want to hand it over to Susie for the questions.
Yes, thank you, Reem. So if anybody of the students who are joining, if they want to ask a question, they can type it in the queue and answer, please. And for you, Dr. Bujang, I'd like to forward you one of the questions, if you just bear with me here.
Yep.
So somebody is asking, what would be the most important thing to include in the proposal for PhD? If you can advise them on this, please.
Yeah, so when you apply a PhD student position in the UK university, you will include many documents. And one of the important documents is your research proposal. So outlining what you're gonna do as your PhD project. So that you will have clear aims and with the objectives, and you will include a literature review for summarizing what is current researches and where's the gaps, and what is your ambitions to tackle those challenges, and a clear plan of your developing your skills and conducting the project. So with the references as well. So although there's a chance you might be doing some different topic at the end, but it is essential to demonstrate your skills, your understanding on the research area in generally, and also skill set for your writing a report in your proposal.
Okay, one of the students is asking here if the study could be online or it has to be, face to face.
Yeah, as far as I understand, you should be based in UK. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And often you can commute, but it should be based in UK to to hold a position, PhD student position in the UK university? Yes, Liadi?
Yes, please. I just wanted to add to what Dr. Bojan has said. I mean, thank you very much for the insightful and very interesting presentation. I found it very engaging myself. I just wanted to add on PhD. As someone from a sort of academic and into sort of recruitment, my knowledge of Saudi students around the PhD is always a very important subject, if you like. Firstly, I wanted to say that apart from the sort of research proposal that Dr. Bojan has already highlighted in terms of the content and what we want to see in the proposal, at times when I talk to colleagues and prospective applicants across the kingdom, they say, oh, I've sent several thousands of emails and there are no replies from academics. And I will tell you why. Now, good universities across the UK, including Southampton, Durham, serious academics like Dr. Bojang and myself and colleagues working, we want to attract the best students from all over the world. Writing a generic email, an email that is not personalized, does not attract an academic to say, this is a student that is interested in me. Most of these emails have challenged some of the prospective applicants. I said, oh, let me see a copy of the email that you've sent. When they've made it generic, the same email they had sent it to Dr. Bojang is the same thing that they sent to Dr. Mudashiru, and they send it around the world. Academics that are very serious, they look at that, they say, well, this is a generic email, it's not personalized, it's not actually specific to me. The first line that anybody wants to see is that, oh, I'm so, I've looked at your website, your research areas, you quote some of the papers and publications, then someone will know, oh, actually, you have actually read my research areas. Then you then use that, how that aligns with what you are doing. Then at the end, you put yourself to say, I'm available for any discussion. So for example, in our own research group, because we want to, as part of the screening process, once we receive an email, we have a Zoom or team calls with a prospective applicant to talk to them before we even put the application process in place. So you should make yourself, so that is one, personalization of emails. Take your time to actually read the area, the academics that you are emailing, demonstrate that you've actually read what they are working on. And if possible, as part of your email, quote some of the recent work that they've done and some of their papers. Then that will get them interested in what in your email. That is one. And if you do that, I can assure you, you get a response. Even if it's going to be a no, you will get a response. Unlike when you don't get any response. That is one. The second thing is on being online. For example, in the kingdom, if you are going to be funded by the Saudi government, they do not recognize online PhD or any online program. That is one. So that is fundamental. And most of us in the UK, we also want to create a sort of research community. We just don't want to dish out degrees. We want to create network, as Dr. Bojan says, about collaboration, expanding your network, be part of the research community. It is only when you are here, you are able to do that. In the past, a number of UK universities, we recognize the challenges in the kingdom. As Dr. Bojan said, as part of our background in the area of science and STEM subject, wanted to encourage and support and empower women. Indeed, of course, over the last 5 years, we have seen through Vision 2030 how the kingdom is opening up and bringing all these opportunities to women. But in the past, when these opportunities have been very difficult for women to access, we've instituted, UK University, they instituted what is called a split site, which has actually allowed women specifically from Saudi Arabia to spend some time, because whether they don't have a chaperone or male guardians, we know that Vision 2030 has removed all those layers of challenges. But we see there are some regions, culturally, they still embedded this, like Kazim. I've been there some myself, so we understand that. So various partnerships with various universities able to take account into that. But so those are the information, whether you want to, and it depends on the kind of project as well. So that you are doing, whether you'll be able to do it online or split site. Thank you so much. Sorry, Dr. Bojan, over to you.
No, absolutely right. So thanks for you doing my job.
Dr. Bojang.
Yeah.
Which university offer PhD in artificial intelligence?
I say many UK universities offer this program because AI, everywhere. So I don't feel I need to give you a list. You search for any university, they should have AI research center doing PhD study.
And one other question, do I have to get an IELTS certificate before applying, or can I get conditional offer?
I think many universities give you some condition for you can complete even after you get the admission. But you better to complete it so that you can start your research project as soon as possible so that you can save your time.
If I may comment, Dr. Bojan, please. Yeah, I know that is always a very big challenge in the kingdom. It's about English language, IELTS, and there's no other way for people to demonstrate. When we, like Southampton and across all the UK universities, when they are looking for the best students, you got to know that you are competing with the best students from around the world. So if other students from around the world, they got their IELTS, why should I be interested in someone from the kingdom who has not got his IELTS? So that is the way you got to increase your own competitive advantage. For you to be competitive, for your application to be, you got to be there. For example, there are some programs where, because of demand and supply, which is driving everything, that's another sort of lesson in economics, which is all about demand and supply, where you have a lot of applicants. Some universities, they don't actually give what's it called, conditional offer. Here at Durham, I can definitely tell you that most of our programs in education and business programs that are oversubscribed, we do not give conditional offers, in the sense that if a student is there, if they do not have minimum of 6 IELTS before they apply, they will not hear from us. Because if they want to start within the same year, we don't believe that if someone has not got out of 6, they can make up to 7 that will require within a year. So that is an example. And why should we be interested in the application if you have other students from around the world who already met the conditions? So that is one. And the other thing is, there are some programs where we do not allow application to defer, even if they have their offer. So it's a waste of their time, it's a waste of our time. Some of those programs are education and business programs, once again, where every year we do not allow anybody to defer their offer to the next year. Even if you have been given a conditional offer, if you do not come that year, you have to reapply and start all over again. Because each year we want to select the best from that cohort every year. So we don't want any hangover of, oh, I've got this last year. You got to reapply and we will compare you. It's a competition. So we want to get the best student at every point in time. So there's no any gimmick about IELTS, or so it's important that for people to strengthen that, because we receive a lot of application on a regular basis, and it's always around IELTS. So that is another example why some academics, they don't look at it. Once you send your proposal, they don't see IELTS. They say, well, why should I? There's no need to reply. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Bujang, what are the master degree that will be needed for the future in the tech industry, please?
So in the tech industry, so basically AI and AI and AI and AI, yeah, and even just standard cyber and computer science, you will need to understand how you can use it at least. So you don't need to be AI expert maybe, but you should be able, you should understand how you can use it at least. So it is you know, we can keep repeating this all the time. And the cybersecurity always, because I'm working on cybersecurity as well, but cybersecurity will be continuously getting more, you know, importance as time goes, because everything is connected and every data will be there. So everyone is using it already. So securing those systems will be essential as well. And it's connected to national security as well.
Thank you. And what's the minimum IELTS score for PhD?
I think it depends on the program, but what I see is 6.5 over, and that I think you should be there's a yeah, in overall 6.5 as far as I know.
Thank you, Dr. Bojan. I will just add to that, just to, yeah, you are correct. Is their program based on the band? For the STEM subject, we require overall average of 6.5 with no element below 6.
Yeah.
For social sciences, art, and humanities, we require 7 overall average with no element below 6.5. And I think that's Dr. Bojan in his presentation. My background is in science as well. We don't need to speak good English. Our language is equation. So that's why it's nothing below 6. But for other areas, business and all the education, because language is the command, is the skill, is what they need to anchor everything. So for example, so no below 6.5, but overall average of 7 for art and humanities and social sciences.
Thank you. These were the questions, Dr. Bojan. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Bujang, for that, and for Dr. Liadi as well, which I would like to move on to our second session now, led by Dr. Liadi, which is a session on environmental and energy postgraduate courses. Dr. Liadi is the Deputy Head of International Student Recruitment in Durham University. Please take the floor, Doctor.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, are you able to share my slide from there, or do you want me to share it from here?
Please, you can share your slides from your end, please.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. I mean, it's always a pleasure to be working very closely with our British Council colleagues, and it's a pleasure to be here to represent the wider UK university as well as Durham University. And I think what I want to do now is to build on the sort of foundation that Dr. Boyang already started around the UK universities. I'm just struggling to see my presentation here, if I may. Okay, let's see. Okay, I think that's not what I wanted. I think I wanted to start from.
Okay, let me try to share it myself, Doctor. Let me help you out. This is your slides?
Okay. Thank you
All
so
right.
much. It may just be that you may have to help me to
Wonderful.
go to the next.
No worries. Just let me when you want. Just let me know when you want.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Yeah. I think the first slide, please, just to sort of reiterate the back, please. Yes, please. Of course, we want to build on what Dr. Bojan already said around cybersecurity and artificial intelligence. I want to expand on opportunities that are available around energy and environment and the PG program courses across the UK. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah, thank you. And the speaker today is supposed to be myself. I'm one of my colleagues. Unfortunately, my colleague is unwell today, so I will try to speak for about 15 minutes and have a lot of opportunity to take a lot of questions. Next slide, please. So this is what we try to cover today, choosing the UK, any study in the UK, the sort of experience that you have, career opportunities, as well as opportunities in the area of energy and environment research activities, funding opportunities, and all those trainings that are possible. I will also try to expand on around postgraduate opportunities that are related to energy, as well as the PhD programs that are also available. And I think Dr. Boja already also touched around the doctoral training centers. So I will try to cover some of expand on that in terms of the multidisciplinary nature of the research activities. Next slide, please. Yes, thank you. Choosing the UK. So these are some of the reasons why we think people should be interested in studying the UK, which is the home of English language. English language is the mode of instruction here. It's one of the very most popular destination for international students around the world. Currently, the UK welcomes almost 700,000 students from around the world who are coming to study here on a yearly basis. And it's a very multinational, international environment, welcome students from all over the world. Me, myself, that I'm speaking to you, I moved here to study over 20 years ago. So we have one of the most best universities here from around the world, a number of them elite group called the Russell Group, and home to the very great, one of the greatest cultural events as well, a lot of employment opportunities that are available. Those are some of the reasons that drove me, that motivated me to come and study in the UK, which I think continue to attract a lot of international students from around the world. Next slide, please. And I just wanted to highlight some of the groups in terms of the ROSEC group. The ROSEC groups, about 24 universities of them, which are listed here. And I'm pleased to say that in terms of the Vision 2030 and the Kingdom as well, all these universities within the ROSEC group are within the Saudi government sponsored list, if you like. We know that we have been talking about taking questions around PhD programs. About 60% of PhD students who come to the UK, they sort of register within the ROSEC group of universities. The ROSEC group of university, they do what is called a research intensive university. So research-led teaching and whatever they do. And most of the students that come to go to ROSEC group, they tend to have what we call above the average in terms of satisfaction rate or dropout rate as well. So, and you can also see the last point, typically they earn in excess of over 10% compared to non-ROSEC university. So you'll be coming to very top universities from around the world. Next slide, please. And you can also see Durham there, number 5. As Dr. Bojang, as I said, I want to build on what the foundation Dr. Bojang already laid down in the wider UK context. Everything is driven by collaborations there, where you do your part, multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary research activities, collaboration with a very leading tech, whether it's Google, whether it's NASA, Rolls-Royce, Aston Martins, all those are part of, even the BAE system. They also have a site, they have a branch in the kingdom there. So they are all part of the bringing the tech as well as the academics within to bring everybody together to create a sort of very inspiring collaborative culture of addressing the biggest world challenges. And next slide, please. Yeah, once again, very world-class facilities, as Dr. Bojan highlighted, in various areas, whether it's at the laboratory levels, engineering workshops, advanced software, supercomputing, all those things that are leading into where you'll be able to generate a quality data for you to be able to progress and address some of the biggest challenges confronting humanity. Next slide, please. A wide range of postgraduate opportunities. My colleagues, this is actually one of our graduates, our student who graduated from Durham University, for example, who went to do great things working with all these big tech companies. And there are a lot of opportunities now for international students to come to the UK, where we now have opportunities. Anybody that completes their studies in the UK, they can then they can stay here, around here for additional 2 years, whether for work or to set up their own activities they want to. So there are a lot of opportunity for one to be able to be part of the community here in the UK and to be part of the global community addressing global challenges and problems. Next slide, please. So I wanted to focus on the sort of energy and environment. Energy and environment research activities as demonstrated across the wider UK, where UK is a leader in that. And I wanted to give an example of some of the research activities that we have here, which we called Durham Energy Institute, very similar to the Cybersecurity Center that Dr. Boyan described. And these are some of the activities that the group they look into, and a wide range of other universities across the UK, whether it's about environmental compliance, flood risk, drainage, infrastructure and development, management of pollutants, land recovery and cleansing, water supply and sanitation. Whether it's about food security and drainage and infrastructure, we've seen a wide range of other things, even including an earthquake, as we saw, unfortunately, within Turkey and Syria in recently. So those are some of the challenges our research activities we are trying to also address. And in terms of specifically in the area of energy, we can see how the situation, the geopolitical issues around the world that is ongoing, that is also affecting the energy infrastructure as well as the environment. Next slide, please. So these are some of the challenges that we want to address across the UK in terms of global energy challenges, whether it's about future energy security, creating sustainable low carbon energy system, developing affordable energy system, and reducing the risk associated with new energy technologies. And I'm very pleased to say that even the kingdom is leading its own way. For example, the Vision 2030, which is actually which underpins the kingdom's vision to be able to move away from the carbon intensive to more of a low carbon energy system. And the kingdom is the one that is leading on that in terms of trying to move away from that sort of very intense carbon, which the whole of UK universities as well as the UK government, we are very supportive of Vision 2030. So those are the challenges that we are trying to address. And in terms of addressing those challenges, we are looking into whether it's about wind energy, smart energy, decarbonizing each system, energy system integration, energy materials, energy geopolitics, as well as power system and distribution, geoenergy, carbon capture and storage. So those are the things that across the UK universities we are trying to sort of address all the global sort of energy challenges, which also the kingdom is also contributing to through its 2030 vision. Yes, please. Next slide. And I thought I was going to highlight some of these postgraduate opportunities that are available within the energy system. These are not by any means limited. They are very broad area. MSc in Sustainable Energy and Development, Renewable Energy, Sustainable Energy, Energy Engineering Management, Geoenergy, and a wide range of energy sort of related issues as well. Along that line, we also have a PhD as well as a doctoral training centers, multidisciplinary energy, doctoral training center, and a wide range of other opportunities for. And you can also see a number of companies that are where we work very closely with the industry. So all those things are possible in terms of the. So these are sort of a snapshot. So this is not exclusive exhaustive by any means. Next slide, please. So once again, these are the multidisciplinary energy center for doctoral training. We have all these doctoral training center across the UK universities where students are embedded and they are given the multidisciplinary opportunity and exposed into a variety of things. And they do that through strong interdisciplinary ethos in energy research. Different perspectives and methodologies are brought into perspective, integrated approach to energy system, lectures from industry as well as policy, group mini projects, and a wide range of engagement activities to underpins everything. And once again, for example, over 100 PhD students from around the world, you can see similar background. So you can come, you don't need to have background in energy for you actually to be part of this, because it's a sort of a multidisciplinary research areas. So people are bringing different perspectives. We're looking at taking mathematics, for example, where they are using mathematical modeling to be able to predict what is going to be happening, using the knowledge of anthropology to understand the behaviors of human beings in how they interact with the energy system. You then have people with a background in business, bringing a sort of whether this is going to lead to return on investment and how the affordability and all those things. So everything is being brought into perspective, and this is done across the UK universities. Next slide, please. Once again, this is another example of MSc Sustainable Energy and Development. These are some of the opportunities and programs that are embedded, very interdisciplinary. You can see it draws on anthropology, geography, engineering, business, energy institutions, energy practices, policy, market, environment, ethics, and all those. So those are the examples of some of the international focus. Here in the UK, Sub-Saharan Africa, South America, South Asia, Southeast Asia, the Middle East, for which Saudi is a key player, Europe, and the rest of the world. So you will see that the challenge and the issues that we are trying to address, they are of global issues to make the world a better place for all of us. Next slide, please. Once again, this is another very important program that is available across the UK university, MSc in Renewable and Energy, Sustainable Energy. So, which is a drive towards a low carbon economy, low carbon and low intensive in terms of carbon. Of course, the kingdom is also contributing to that through the Vision 2030. Next slide, please. And the other perspective that we are bringing in, that apart from having a sort of technical scientific background, is also to empower the future generation to have what we call energy engineering management. So where they will be able to actually be having the opportunity and to be equipped with skills and multi-perspectives that is very, very important for them to be able to lead a specific project and to help the society and the world at large in terms of as we prepare to transition into our transition to net zero across the globe, which also, as I said, the Kingdom is also leading on through its Vision 2030 program. So those are an example of the opportunities that are available across the UK, wider UK universities. Next slide, please. So this is another example around the MSc in geoenergy, where they are using thermal opportunity to be able to, for example, I'm sure the petroleum and unconventional hydrocarbons, that will be very, very similar to, is something that is very, that are sort of, there are a lot of, across the Kingdom, people understand with the Saudi Aramco, for example. So those are the other resources that the energy infrastructure, they are trying to use other resources to be able to address some of these challenges. And as you can see, the CO2 that is being emitted from that, you can be able to see them. Please go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So I think I wanted to quickly highlight, I think that Dr. Bojan already touched on this, the processes of applying for PhD. So I will leave that until when we have further questions. But on our website, we provide a wide range of information on what we are looking for to see in the PhD, sort of a typical PhD proposal. I think Dr. Bojan already covered that sort of aspect. So that is just, so we provide a lot of information on that. And the other thing that we also do is that we are able to actually review PhD proposal in advance of even before someone makes a formal submission to the university. Next slide, please. So I think I want to move on to how to find the potential funding for your studies. And when I was preparing, when myself and my colleagues were preparing this slide, our slide to be discussed, we actually sort of saying we are taking a more international approach, because we know that in the Kingdom, how the diversity across the Kingdom, people that are living there, opportunities for those who are going to be funded by the Saudi government, and expert communities as well who may need some funding. So we got we had all those in mind when we're putting this together as a sort of that we're going to be talking to international audience as we are doing. Next slide, please. Yeah, so these are some of the funding opportunities that are available to support people's to come and study here in the UK. Some of them are regional based, and some of them are specific to specific departments or specific programs. Next slide, please. So, for example, when people are coming for undergraduate, these are some of the opportunities, scholarship opportunities that are available, whether it's about academic scholarship that are based on academic merit, as well as excellence, subject-specific scholarships, a wide range of other scholarship opportunities. For example, because of what is going on around the world in some of the politically unstable countries, we got some scholarship around that. Disability scholarship is also there. So we try to ensure that we attract the best brains, and people ensure that we don't want people to waste their talent. So, and we don't want money to be a barrier to that. Next slide, please. Once again, these are some of the postgraduate specific opportunities, whether it's these are some of these ones that are actually instituted by the UK government, whether it's Shivni, Commonwealth, Great Scholarships. A number of them also cover the PhD opportunities. Next slide, please. In terms of when you are trying to see for applying for scholarships, you try to do your research. For example, a constant question within the when you are asking for funding is that they will definitely ask you a question: why you? Why should we fund you? So those are the very, very important things that you will have to prepare your application as part of that as well to justify. And that is why under the essay and personal statement, why we should be interested in, why we should be giving you funding and all those things. Once again, as also applicable to research proposal, plagiarism is a very, very big this thing here. We want people to be able to take credit for the work that they have done. And we have a lot of software naturally that we detect if people, they have copied other people's proposal or other people's work. So that is very, very important to not to damage your academic and intellectual credibility. Next slide, please. So once again, additional extensive scholarship programs. Next slide, please. So these are some of the specific scholarship, which I will not go into details, but you can go to the website. For example, this is Shibney Scholarship, which was established in 1983 by the UK government, which on a yearly basis, we have about 1,500 students that are very, very competitive and selective process. They come to the UK to study every year. We can see the application time frame there as well. Next slide, please. So those are the types of awards that are available under the Shibney scholarships. Some of the beneficiaries, as well as a number of different countries that will be eligible. Once again, you can see that English language requirements feature very heavily the second to the last. And most importantly, most of these scholarships, they want people to have an unconditional offer, as well as it's being operated as part of the scholarship scheme across the kingdom. Next slide, please. So similarly, we have the Commonwealth Scholarship, which was established in 1959 for across sort of Commonwealth nations. Over 700 awards each year are made for people to come here. So those are and they tend to have their key priorities every year based on what is going on. An example of some of those priorities are there, whether it's about science and technology. And most of these priorities are designed to address the challenges, the present challenges facing humanity across the world, global challenges. Next slide, please. So once again, Commonwealth, which is just an expansion of what it covers and who are eligible, and that is the website there. As with the key team across most of the Russell Group universities, as well as with the scholarship application, we are looking at students with a second-class upper division. Second-class upper division in the context of Saudi Arabia will be someone with a minimum of 3.5 GPA out of 5 or 2.8 out of 4. Next slide, please. So these are the scholarship opportunities instituted by the UK government, which is called Great Britain Scholarship, which is to raise the profile in partnership with the British Council to continue to support students from around the world to come and study in the UK. Excellent student, which is very similar to the excellent scholarship across the kingdom as well, to bring in the best students from around the world. Next slide, please. So these are the sort of type of awards that Great Scholarship also covers, and as well as more information on the website. Next slide, please. So once again, women in STEM, as Dr. Bojan highlighted, one of the areas that we want to do is to further increase the empower women and increase the participation of women in a STEM subject. So there's a lot of opportunities for women around that. So these are the sort of opportunity that covers. And you can also see English language, we are second to the last feature there. It won't be waived, but instead the scholarship will provide money, support, funding for them to be able to take the exam, because the medium of instruction here is English, and it's important for everyone to be able to have a very good understanding of that to be successful. Next slide, please. So those are the expansive areas that it covers and the link on how to and what it covers. Next slide, please. So a wide range of opportunities across other institutional scholarship that are available to support, whether it's across the Rose University, whether it's at Oxford, Gate scholarship, across a wide range of opportunities that are available. So across the UK universities. Next slide, please. So these are some of the regional scholarships that are also available, which I want to quickly whiz through so that we have more time for question and answer. Next slide, please. For example, this is a scholarship that are available to our applicants or people with a background from South Asia that they can also apply for to come and study here in the UK. Next slide, please. Once again, South Asia, specifically to Hong Kong. You have Hong Kong there, Thailand and Vietnam, those that can come and study in the UK. These are the opportunities. and the resident can be residing anywhere in the world to be able to benefit from this opportunity. Next slide, please. So this is also a scholarship opportunity for those who are from Nigeria background, a wide range of scholarship that are also national scholarship as well as other scholarship opportunities that are available. Next slide, please. So these are also scholarship opportunities that are those that are coming from which is between the US and the UK, an opportunity for them to come here to come and do PhD and a wide range of other programs. And the website is there. Next slide, please. I think I want to leave it here, but I want to go to I want to thank you for taking your time for listening, but I want to go to the next slide, please, so that you can see our contact details. Feel free to get in touch with us. Over to you, Reem, and thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Liadi. That was indeed a very interesting, insightful presentation. I think I'd like to straight take it to Q&A. So if Susie can give us the questions.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Reem. So one of the questions here, Dr. Liadi, is how can I know the trend courses and how it can help me with my career path?
Yeah, I mean, I think that is what the UK universities are very, very good at, because we recognize that it's a huge investment for anyone to come and study here. I mean, it's all about return on investment. And that is why most of the UK universities, particularly the Russell Group, they are rated very highly as most of them within the top 20 to 30 best institutions in terms of their attractiveness of their graduates to key employers. So I think fundamentally, particularly this generation, the exciting thing about this generation is that unlike old generation, like people like us, where once you are in a job, it's likely where you are for the rest of your life. I mean, I'm a good example of that. I started off as an assistant professor in geochemistry. Now I travel the world to promote the UK universities as well as the Durham University. In the sense that because I'm very passionate about bringing opportunities to people around the world, and that was what led me to this. So in terms of your background, I think there are a lot of apart from your academic or subject specific background, you also need to build yourself in terms of generic and transferable skills. And I think Dr. Bojang alluded to that in terms of the transferable skills and generic sort of training that we provide to our PhD students, for example, which are also available to a lot of undergraduate and master's program. So in terms of current trajectory, for example, I mean, I grew up in Nigeria myself, which we were driven by oil and gas, and that was our intention was to go and work in the oil sector. But also here at Durham University, we welcome a lot of students from Saudi Arabia. But you can now see the transition that is being led by Vision 2030 in the kingdom. So it is hugely important that you actually study a subject that you are very passionate about and you are interested in. Because if you are following the trend, if the trend of the area that you are studying is no longer in vogue, or it's not, I mean, one thing that is very constant is the change that we are going to be experiencing, very disruptive change and whatever change. But the most important thing is once you are passionate in the area that you are doing, you'll be able to transfer from one sector to the other sector. And the good news is the multidisciplinary nature of the activities that we are doing nowadays. So, and that is what is going to drive the future. So my advice is that be passionate, be very interested in what you are doing, and be multidisciplinary, because that is the future. So as long as you are multidisciplinary, you continue to develop some of the generic and transferable skills that are needed, whether it's about critical thinking, about being technology advanced, I have no doubt, and numeracy skill. I have no doubt you'll be able to sort of adjust and adapt to whatever changes that may come your way in the future to build a successful career. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Liadi. There's also another question. How do I apply for a PhD? Do I have to find the advisor first or apply directly to the university?
Yeah, I think PhD is something that is about relationship building. It's very close to marriage. So the best thing is, if you want to work with good academics that are in demand, it's better for you to, I think the process, even before you make your formal application, it's important that you contact an academic, as we highlighted earlier, that write a very strong proposal that is devoid of plagiarism, that identifies unique area that you want to address, as part of that, you want to contribute and advance knowledge. Once that is there, then anywhere that you want to work, take a look at the academics in those domains and get in touch with the academics and make yourself available as a statement of confidence to say, this is what I'm doing. Introduce yourself. I'm available to have a chat on Teams or Zoom. So, and you can, where you have flexibility, once an academic is happy to supervise you in principle, then you can make a formal proposal. And once you, make a formal application. And once you do that, for example, in the context of our university here, if you do that, you get an offer within 2 weeks. But when students, they don't contact anybody, they apply, this can be going on for about 6 months, and they might never even get any response. Because once you apply, if you have not been in touch with any academics, what they do is that they are sending your application to all the old academic in the department to say, oh, is anyone interested in supervising RIM, for example? A serious academic who is getting contact with a student from around the world, who is very selective in the first instance, he's not going to even read that. So they are not going to be interested. But however, if you have been in touch with an academics, as soon as they receive a RIM's application, they will forward it to an academic that he's been in touch with. Within, because of prior knowledge, academics say, yes, I know RIM, please, I'm happy to supervise. And you get your offer within 2 weeks or less. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. There is also another question about master programs that do not require a bachelor degree to apply.
Well, to the very best of my knowledge, in the UK, I'm not aware of any master program that you do not need to have an undergraduate degree. To the best of my knowledge, across the UK universities and serious universities, people will ask you, when we are talking about masters, you are building on something. So if people, and the only way we can sort of course, we always say masters or equivalencies. So if you have not done a master's, maybe it's called a different name in people's countries or whatever, but we definitely require, if you have not done an undergraduate, if it's not called an undergraduate or bachelor in their home countries, definitely we need something to build on. So it will require one form of education or whatever. So to the best of my knowledge, I'm not aware of any master program that does not require one form of undergraduate or bachelor degrees or qualification or not.
Thank you, Doctor. There was also a question about if you can reiterate again, what's the most important component to include in an excellent PhD proposal? Yeah,
as I said, I think I just build on what Dr. Bojan said. We want to see an element of literature review. When we are talking of a literature review, the area or the domain you want to work on, what has been done, what is the knowledge that is available in the public domain, what has been addressed. And then we want you to see the sort of knowledge gaps. What do you want to, the statement of the question that you want to pose as part of your research, that what is the contribution that your research wants to make into the advance this knowledge. Once we are able to see that, then we want to then see the sort of a plan. How do you intend to sort of plan out? Because PhD is between 3 and 4 years. Your first 1 year, what do you need to, whether it's about data collection? For example, if someone wants to work on, wanting Lua, for example, which is about archaeology. If you are going to be collecting your data in Saudi Arabia, we want to be able to see, you want to say, oh, I want to spend my first 9 months to continue to expand on my literature review within my research topic. And within the first 3 months, once I do that, then the next 6 months, I want to spend that in Alua, for example, to be able to collect my data, or Daria Gate project, where I want to collect data in the kingdom. And once I get this data, then I want to come back to the university to come and do social analysis. What are the techniques that you want to use to do those analyses? Then what are the timeline and the time frame that you are looking at, that you'll be able to structure yourself within, that from start to finish, you intend to finish your PhD within 3 to 4 years. So those are the things that we want to see. And at the end, what are your objectives? Whether it is my intention to be able to publish in reputable journals, to attend various conferences, international conferences, where we have opportunity to introduce my research project to world critiques, where people will be able to challenge you on your research and be able to give you different perspectives. So those are the things that we want to see for you. And in addition, how do you intend to embed yourself as part of the intellectual community within here? And of course, whether you want to go back to be a professor in Saudi Arabia, how do you want to continue to build research collaboration that will help advance your career? For example, as with most UK universities, here at Durham University, our motto is inspiring extraordinary. We don't want to graduate ordinary people. We want people that will go back, succeed, and contribute, and make the kingdom and everywhere in the world to make it a better place for humanity. That is our objective. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Liadi. And there's also one last question. This is about PhD study in the UK. Does it require attendance full-time as a full-time student in the UK, or he can take some time, return for his country, but still carry on the work?
Well, there's no, I mean, that is why we said PhD is about relationship building. And there's no there's no direct answer to this, because it's about personal, it's about different case studies. It's going to be on individual basis. For example, as I highlighted in the introduction, if someone's project is about the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, for example, let's say about a site of historical site in Daria Gate, for example, where someone will be there to collect samples. So that is the person can be there for 6 months, or they can be going from time to time, whether 3 months and the 3 month second year, 3 month third year, and whatever. They can be going there because that is where we have to collect samples. So it depends on the nature of research. It also depends on the nature of the project they are working on. For example, if they are working on something like about cybersecurity, where they need advanced supercomputing, if they have a similar advanced supercomputing in their own country, the supervisor may agree to say, well, you have a similar facilities that are available, you may be there. It also depends on the individual circumstances. The person may say, well, maybe the first 2 years they're in the UK, when is the last year and they've got enough data, the write-up, they say, oh, I want to go back to my own country to be able to do my write-up. Then I will come back to defend my thesis. There are also a lot of flexibility, but once again, it's about relationship and understanding that you build with your supervisor. So there's no any right or wrong or any, it's about individual. So, and that is that. And once again, it's about being embedded in the academic environment here. So there's no one answer that fits everything. It's very flexible. Thank you.
Wonderful. If there's not any other questions, Susie, I would like to thank everyone for joining, and special thanks to all of our speakers today. شكراً وتشرفنا بحضوركم اليوم. I hope this was a useful session to you all, and I really hope we answered any questions that you had. If you have any additional questions, do not hesitate to reach out to us at British Council Saudi Arabia. One important requirement for studying in the UK is the IELTS examination. Here at the British Council, you are all welcome for the assessment exams, or we welcome any questions you may have. Please visit our branches in Riyadh, Jeddah, and Dammam. And please visit our website as well. You can have a lot of information from there as well. Once again, thank you all, and I hope you have a great day, evening ahead. Anything you want to close there, Illy?
No, just to say thank you so much to our speakers this evening. It's been an incredibly informative webinar, and thank you so much for our attendees for joining us. And the recording will be available online if you want to pick up any of the points. So thank you so much. Ma salama. Bye.
Thank you. Ma salama, everyone.
Yeah, from Durham University. Assalamu alaikum. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.